started this gangster shit. Mr. Motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And it's the motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello.
Happy Halloween. What do you know? Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to Ethan Van Sciver, 25-year veteran of this comic book industry, illustrator of future Canadian Prime Minister Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, creator of Cyberfrog Blood Honey, the biggest crowdfunded comic book of all time, and a great big Star Wars fan. Look at this from Cnpc, and they know what they're talking about. Disney bought Lucasfilm 6 years ago. And has already recouped its $4 billion investment. I'm going to need to see the figures on that one. 6 years ago, Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion. What is that extra $50 million? That's the one thing that I'd really like to know. I am not aware. So you got $4 billion, and by the way, toss in an extra $50 million. Private jetpack, George? An Iron Man suit? Can you make an Iron Man suit, or at least the jetpack, or jet boots? Iron Man's jet boots for $50 million. I'll bet that's what he did with it, and good for him, he earned it. The 4 Star Wars feature films Disney has released or excreted since 2015 have grossed more than $4.8 billion at the box office. What? Grossed? Tattoo that backwards on your forehead and have a look at yourself in the mirror every morning, Sarah Whitten. The word is grossed, not netted. More than $4.8 billion at the box office. Disney also makes money from licensing agreements and sales of merchandise, apparel, and toys. Whether people buy them or not. So basically, they make money licensing these things out, and nobody buys them, and everybody goes out of business. Toys R Us collapses under the weight of unsold Rose Tico figures, and I've done my part. I personally purchased probably 50 Rose Tico action figures, so don't blame me. Don't blame me for Toys R Us. I was a Toys R Us kid, and I still am. Here's a hostage photo of Mark Hamill hanging out with Cray Cray KK and R2-D2 and C-3PO. Mark Hamill, look at him. Yeah, he's feigning. Look at the wry cynicism. Look at this. I had so many hopes and dreams. I waited my whole life, 35 years, in fact, half of my life. Is that half of his life? To get back into Luke Skywalker's persona. I had dreams of Luke Skywalker having brought the Empire, or the galaxy, to peace. Perfect peace in which I was, a benevolent ruler. I had married Mara Jade, and we had kids together. Many kids who were masters of the Force. We made Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost proud. We made Yoda's Force Ghost glow extra blue. All because of what I did as a hero, right? Wrong. Then I let Roundhead Ryan Johnson determine the future of the character that I created, and now look at me. Now look at me. Now look at me. Yeah. So very sad. What a sad photo. Telling. You could read a lot into a photo like that. Here's producer Kathleen Kennedy, C-3PO, Mark Hamill, attending Star Wars The Last Jedi press conference, where they're about to lie about how good the film is. They're at the Ritz-Carlton, Tokyo, on December 7th, Pearl Harbor's anniversary. Tokyo, Japan. So sorry. Disney's purchase of... This is revenge, I guess, for Pearl Harbor. Maybe that's what... maybe that's what this was. Maybe that's what The Last Jedi turned out to be. Disney's purchase of Star Wars production company Lucasfilm is proving to be one of the smartest acquisitions ever made in corporate America. The deal, worth $4.05 billion in cash and stock, was announced October 30th, 2012, and marked the start of a new era in the Star Wars franchise. Disney would make back that investment, is that right? And more in just a few short years. Sarah Whitten, we're going to have to teach you what money means. We're going to have to teach you about money going out versus money coming in. I think you'll learn something here. All right, so they've made more than $4.8 billion. They've grossed. That means that's how much the cumulative total, not measured against, what has gone out. And they spend so much money making these Star Wars films. So much money making them, so much money promoting them. This was one of the smartest acquisitions in history, says Paul de Bagargian, senior media analyst for ComScore, told CNBC. While the box office grosses are a solid measure of a film's success, no, they're not. They still don't tell the whole story. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in costs that come into play. That is right. Along with dozens of other Star Wars revenue streams. Ticket sales of Star Wars films produced by Disney. Like that. My God. Oh, fire this woman. This is The Force Awakens. This is when everyone believed. Everyone still believed that things were going to be okay. They were excited. They were excited about what was going to happen with the Disney Star Wars franchise. Force Awakens did very, very well indeed. It made over $2 billion, just over $2 billion at the box office. That is healthy. What is this? The money, okay, this is domestic, this is international. All right, Rogue One. By the way, you'll have to subtract from this the cost of making the movie, which was somewhere around $300 million, minus the cost of promoting the movie. That's another $300 million. They usually spend the cost of production over again, okay, in production, just in advertising, in promoting and promotion. That's kind of the standard operating procedure. So basically, you're looking at $600 million going out before this healthy, believe me, healthy $2 billion comes in. That's no problem. Here we have it's a Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's their second attempt at this. Of course, it only made a little more than $1 billion. And they figured, okay, these little solo stories are not going to be important to the trilogy. So that's what we can expect, right? We can expect about $1 billion, $1 billion for a solo Star Wars movie. Last Jedi. Yeah, this is going to be another big addition to the trilogy, the franchise. So can we get the two? No, you can't, because an idiot with a round head directed it, and people hated it. People hated it so very, very much that it destroyed the Star Wars franchise forever. I don't think it can ever recover again. Not the same way that it was. It will limp from here on into eternity until they finally close the doors. Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, one of the worst movies ever made, and definitely the worst Star Wars film ever made yet. I want to give them room to improve on that. I think they can make worse Star Wars films. Oh, look over here. Solo: A Star Wars Story. Absolutely. 2018, Solo: A Star Wars Story. The first Star Wars movie to not make its production budget back. Okay? It is, right now, as of this moment of speaking, it is still $80 million in debt and behind. This is interesting. Now, so we know that this is the first one to not make money. Let's continue reading. The receipts don't account for the estimated $200 million to $300 million Disney shelled out per film in production costs, like I just said, right here, or the money they spent on the robust marketing campaigns to promote each release. That is also correct. So basically, let's say $600 million, $2 million, all right, another $600 million here, another $600 million here, subtracted away from the total, and oh my God, more than $600 million here, I believe, because they're not accounting for the finishing costs. When Ron Howard came in and had to finish the movie that was already 85% complete, Ron Howard requested a ton of more money to make it a sensible movie, and this movie, oh my God, it just drowned in its own costs and its own production costs. Not to mention, it's very sad promotional. Well, they had pancakes at Denny's. They promoted it by selling pancakes at Denny's. Very sad, very bleak. So that's right. Then there's also the money Disney makes on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital sales. Not much. Turns out to be not much. It is usually, let's see, I think The Force Awakens. No, Rogue One made $82 million. Not much in the grand scheme of things, okay? Blu-ray and digital sales, not to mention licensing agreements for the brand, and sales of its own Star Wars apparel, toys, and novelizations. Okay, that's just sad at this point. Ahead of the release of The Force Awakens in 2015, Disney's earnings got a boost from sales of Star Wars merchandise on Force Friday, a September event designed to excite fans of the franchise to purchase newly released goods. Not to mention, Disney has 2 Star Wars lands under construction, theme parks. This is money going out. Florida to open next year. This is the most delusional article I think I've ever read in my life. This is pure propaganda. This is a woman explaining away your credit card debt. She borrowed your credit card and she's explaining to you why. No, you guys have not made your money back yet. I promise you. This is chicanery. I can't believe they even did this. Why would they do this? $4.8 billion grossed. When you've already spent what's $600 million times 4, $2.4 billion going out in producing and promoting these films. So in essence, you've made half of this money in profits, maybe half of this money in profits, 2.4 billion at the box office versus your 4.05 billion dollars. I don't know if you have actually earned what would it be, 1.65 billion dollars in toy sales. Like I said, I bought 50 Rose Tico action figures, so I've done my part. Let's just put it that way. And we scroll down. This has helped. I'm sure have you sold 1.65 billion dollars worth of this? Well, I mean, the Jawa's nice. I would buy it. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy these. They're weird. Why does Princess Leia look so smug? What do you have to be so smug about with your hydrocephalic head? Why would you? What on earth? Bob Iger, who became Disney's beleaguered CEO in 2005, is no stranger to making big acquisitions. Iger facilitated the purchase of Pixar in 2006 for $7.4 billion and Marvel for $4 billion. Both were worth it. Both production companies have gone on to make billions at the box office, a whopping $17 billion from Marvel across 20 films and $13.2 billion. I'll bet these are actually net. I'll bet they're not gross. I'll bet these are net figures because all of those films make a ton of money in profits. People like them. They don't disturb anyone. They don't give anyone nightmares, and they don't send anyone into existential fits of dread when they recall having to sit in the theater and watch Luke Skywalker drink the milk from apparently the breast, could be somewhere else. It's the nipples were located in the nether regions of a giant mer camel. A mer camel. Mark Hamill drinking from a Mark Hamill. Lucasfilm is poised to do the same, as its first 3 films all made over $1 billion at the global box office. The other one didn't quite make it to $400 million yet. The Force Awakens made $2 billion. Keep bragging about that. That was the grift right there. That was the grift, getting everyone in to see The Force Awakens. And there's all your money. It's all downhill from here. Solo, A Star Wars Story, was the only film that was widely panned at the box office, making under $400 million worldwide. Solo still made a lot of money. You're a liar. It made no money. Solo made negative money. It made zero money, but then minus. Okay? So if you have $0, imagine if you have $0, take away $800 million from that total. That's how much money Solo made. And I think in anybody's book, that is not a lot of money. Dagarbadarian, by any other measure, Solo was a success. No, wrong. But in the realm of Star Wars, anything less than a Grand Slam home run is seen as a disappointment. How about a penisless bunt, pop-up bunt in the air that's caught by the catcher? That's basically what Solo was. It was not a Grand Slam home run. And by the way, the bat fell apart. It disintegrated in the batter's hands. He tripped over his own shoelaces as he attempted to cross home plate over towards first base. Fell down and cracked his skull open. It's the opposite of a Grand Slam home run. Opposite. All right, so that film was held to a higher standard, no question, because that's because of how well the films have done even before Disney, right? So complete failure. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the groundwork was laid by George Lucas, genius, who sold this movie property away. Finally, he said, I did the prequels. I'm done. Just get it away from me. And anyone, by the way, I don't know. I feel like anyone might have done better than George Lucas's prequels, except for Disney. I mean, that is amazing. The prequels now, in retrospect, are glistening with love and joy and fun, sophistication. In hindsight, the prequel movies are absolutely terrific compared to the horrible, bleak, sad, depressing, and two-dimensional films made by Disney ever since. Lucasfilm, thank God, still holds the rights to Indiana Jones, although a 5th film in that franchise has been teased by the company. It's unclear that will come to fruition. Is that right? Has that kind of been shut down a little bit? Current expectations have the film hitting theaters in the year 2021. Well, by that time, we'll have flying cars. When it was time again to revisit the Star Wars universe, Lucas hired Kathleen Kennedy. That's the problem. That right there, that was, where did I go wrong? Oh, right there. An industry veteran who had long worked with Steven Spielberg and with the special effects team at Lucasfilm. Kennedy would become the head of Lucasfilm after it was sold to Disney. While a recent box office stumble by Solo, again, bunt fly, caught by the catcher, broke the bat disintegrated, the runner tripped over home plate as he was heading towards first base, and cracked his skull on the ground. That was the box office stumble of Solo. Had forced the company to reevaluate and by the way, and when he fell down and cracked his skull, he also crapped his pants in front of a stadium full of people. So that's the other part of it. Including a standalone Obi-Wan Kenobi film, that's not happening, and a Boba Fett film. Under Kennedy's leadership, Lucasfilm has blossomed. Boba Fett film officially panned. It's canceled. It's shelved. It's not going to happen now. They've decided instead to go full bore with The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian TV show streaming. I guess it's going to be streaming on the Disney streaming service. They're going to do that instead of the Boba Fett film, directed by James Mangold. Could have been good. It could have been good, but they're not going to do it now. The yet entitled Star Wars Episode 9 is due out December 2019, and 2 separate trilogies are under development. One by The Last Jedi director Rian Johnson, that's not happening, and another by Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. These better be good, but I'm hearing things from people saying both of those guys suck. I don't know why this is happening. I mean, I don't know why people are excited about that. Lucasfilm has also created 2 animated shows. Star Wars Forces of Destiny is a web series that is released through Lucasfilm Animation on Disney's YouTube channel that focuses on the female characters in the Star Wars universe. Oh, that should be fun. That sounds great. While Star Wars Resistance, widely panned, is a series that airs on the Disney Channel and is set in the era of the most recent Star Wars trilogy. So it's going to be horrible. It's horrible. People already, I think the first 2 or 3 episodes are out. People are vomiting on each other, sitting on the couch, vomiting on each other's faces as they watch that cartoon. It's not so good. Kennedy's contract was renewed by Disney in late September, meaning that she'll remain the head of Lucasfilm for at least the next 3 years. We'll see about that. Shares of Walt Disney are up 15.6% since last year and more than 127% since Disney purchased Lucasfilm 6 years ago today. Coincidentally, the MCU is rocking and rolling. So, as long as Thanos is there, as long as Tony Stark is there, they can cover for the very sadness of Mark Hamill, and the cluelessness of Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know, for, I guess, another 3 years. Another 3 years, we will have to see, won't we? Thanks, everyone. Like, subscribe this video, please, and subscribe to this channel, please, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Join the fandom menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there.